Tom.
Okay, this is the October 2025 regular meeting of the BET.
August.
I think you mean August.
August, sorry, what did I say? October?
October.
Yeah.
Trying to get rid of me sooner, Ed?
Well, you won't be gone until January, though, right?
I know. This is only August.
Oh, I see. Let's just kind of get it, kind of like inch it along somehow. Madam Clerk?
Mayor Railing,
Here.
Mr. Abrams, Mr. Camacho,
Here.
Mr. Constant,
Here.
Mr. Gilleret,
Here.
Mr. Casimis, Miss Yang. We have 4 in attendance. We have a quorum.
Okay. All right, the first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the July 7 meeting, which I did not attend. Would anyone like to move the item?
I'll move it.
Okay, so moved. Has anyone had a chance, has everyone had a chance to review it? Any amendments? Corrections? Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you're raising your hand. All in favor of approving the minutes, signify by saying aye.
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 Against, abstentions. All right, the motion passes and the minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is the special appropriations. A portion of the agenda. Tom or Jared, would anyone like to speak on that?
There's nothing there that would be on the operating budget side, any special appropriations, and we have none this evening. The capital special appropriations go in other business, and there happens to be none of those this evening either.
Okay, and then there's is there there's a transfer agenda item?
Correct.
Okay, and would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody noticed
Do we have to move it first, Tom, or not?
Oh, yes, yeah, go ahead.
I'll move it.
I'll move it, Ed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if you if the team noticed the minutes were in a slightly different format, a bit more concise and slightly modified. The vendor that we had been using for many years is no longer in business. So what the plan to do going forward, City Clerk Irene, who's here, and her team came up with the idea of bringing that in-house using part-time individuals instead of sourcing it out to a vendor. So with everyone's buy-in, what we're doing is all of the budget items allocated to typing services citywide are going to be transferred into city clerk part-time salaries. So that first transfer totaling just under $49,000 is basically taking all of the the typing services budget out of the individual departments and into part-time salaries. So you see the line item detail there, and as I mentioned, it's $49,000. So Irene's here to address any questions that anybody has about that. But going forward, I think you can expect the minutes to be a bit more concise. In the past, it was a little bit of, Susie said this and Johnny said that, and a little more back and forth than we probably needed. So my personal opinion, I kind of like the format that they tested out with us last month. So, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I would like to commend Irene and her staff for that recommendation. Anytime we can make things and improve upon things, and probably at the same time save a little money, I think it's a win-win. So I think it's really a great idea. Thank you, Irene.
Welcome.
I've got a quick question about that, just out of curiosity. So I know that sometimes in some offices, mine included, but sort of informally, there's AI that basically is used to sort of record the meetings, and then you ask it to give you a summary, and obviously it takes a human being who actually attended the meeting to go through it to make sure that that based on their notes, the result is is accurate. Is that something like what you guys are doing, or are you guys actually manually taking notes and?
It really depends on the importance of the meeting. As an example, Charter Revision Commission meetings, we really pay attention. A human person does it. For less, they're all important, but less sensitive commissions, we do a lot of AI and then edit afterwards. So
Right.
it's been helpful.
Right, yeah, that makes a big difference. Okay. So it makes sense to move it in-house if it's
We're
not,
saving a lot of money. We really are.
Yeah.
And we're more compliant because we're able to produce the minutes within the FOIA timeframe. So it's really working out better.
it's great.
So just a quick question. I mean, so the savings is the 49,000 you're bringing in-house, or were we paying the vendor more, or?
Well, it cost us more because they were charging more, the vendor, and a lot of times the staff people are not really satisfied with the quality, so they have to redo it. It's been challenging. So this is a perfect solution for that
So-
situation that we're faced with.
So we are saving dollars for this
Yes,
new
we are. We
process.
definitely are.
It-
We're able
it-
to hire part-time folks with, of course, no benefits, and at the, you know, the starting salary for clerical position. So it's been working out great.
Yeah, Troy, we don't know that it'll be, it certainly won't be a $49,000 savings. But perhaps over the course of the year, we can get a feel for, you know, what we're spending monthly. And then when we get into the 27 budget planning season, we should have a bit of a trend line to base next year's estimates off of.
Yeah, we could feel it out as far as
Yeah.
the quality of the new process. Fine.
And in case anybody doesn't know, I think everybody does. Cheryl Telesco, who was running the stenography services, passed away. And she's been doing these services for the city of Norwalk for quite some time. And we're very saddened by her passing.
Well, I didn't know that. No, sorry to hear.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, so is there another transfer agenda, or is
Yeah, there's
Oh, we have to vote on
another
this
one
one.
for, yeah, and if,
We didn't vote on this one, did we? Or are we going to vote
yeah,
on?
so we vote them, yeah, well, we can vote on them as we go, if you like. All in favor of this item? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Next item?
yeah, so the next one is information technology / GIS. For those who've been on the BET for a few years, you probably remember we used to have a planning and zoning department, which we still do, and conservation commission, which we no longer, with Steve Kleppin's agreement. We collapsed those all into planning and zoning. It was just easier for him to manage in terms of headcount and all of his supply budgets and so on and so forth. So this happens to be Joyce Liu's area, and she is wishing to do the same thing here. So the GIS department is about $207,000 budget for the year, 6 or 7 line items. And just for ease and efficiency of managing her budget, she wanted to collapse those two areas all into information technology. But she will still have the ability to track GIS independently within her own budget if asked.
I'll move that item.
Okay, it's been moved. And any questions, discussion? All right, no questions. All in favor of the item? Opposed? Abstentions? The item carries unanimously. Is there another item?
Yes, there's one more, and this one has been in the press quite a bit over the last few months. And this is to effect the $3.5 million transfer from the city side to the Board of Education to assist them with their budget challenges that we're all well aware of. Jared, did you want to touch on any other details with that one?
Yeah, no, I mean, not too much to talk about. I went over in pretty good detail during the last meeting when I was given the presentation, the update on the 25 budget. And so this is the city, could remember there were two components to what was going to the Board of Education. There's a component that is the city money from 25. And then there will in the future be a component that's this state money, state funding that we got. That will happen. It may be a couple of months actually, because we have to jump through some hoops with the state OPM and get a whole plan to them. So it may take a little bit to do that portion of it. However, tonight is just the city side of it, which is, as Tom noted, $3.5 million. We identified several accounts where there will be surpluses in those accounts, and the transfer and the details that are there reflect moving money from the surpluses in those accounts to the Board of Education.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I'd just like to indicate, I strongly support this. As you know, during the past several months, we had some budget issues dealing with significant cuts that were going to happen on the Board of Education side or the Norwalk Public School side. A lot of those were programs that parents feel very strongly about. Others were a reduction in full-time employees of student-facing staff. If you recall, we had probably 600 or 700 parents come out, and I haven't seen that since I've been the mayor. I saw a lot of that before I was the mayor, but I didn't see a lot of that since we've had this administration in place, and we're trying to work with the Board of Education on a much more cohesive and a good relationship level. So this 3.5, I want to commend our department heads, our staff, for their responsible budgeting, living within their budget, and not trying to spend down all the money at the last moment. So that's going to be able to help us. This will not increase the budget cap. It will increase the MBR, but I don't think that's really an issue, because next year with pay raises, et cetera, I think there'll be no problem going over our current MBR. Now, the other $3 million, the state of Connecticut, thanks to Senator Duff, is going to be giving the city of Norwalk $10 million for different items. And I know Mr. Schmidt and Mr. Ellis are working very diligently trying to make that work, how we have to report certain things and how we have to, like you said, jump through a few hoops. But that will also not increase the budget cap. So we're trying to move this forward. These monies will be allocated in an agreement with the with the Norwalk Public Schools and the Board of Ed. Will be allocated to save the music programs, save other programs that were in jeopardy, and also save those student-facing positions that would have been eliminated had we not done this. So I can't stress strongly enough how I support this. There are, like I said, 700 or 800 parents that came out. And I haven't seen a demonstration like that in a long time. And they were very passionate. And I understand why. So that's all I have to say.
Would anyone like to move the item? I don't believe anyone has.
I'll move the item.
Okay, it's been moved. So you mentioned that it won't increase the cap. Will it be part of the MBR, that additional money from the state?
Yes. Well, I don't know. That'll have to be answered by Tom and Jared. I'm not sure about that.
If it is, it's not going to be an issue for us, because at least practically speaking, it won't be an issue, because we, typically the Board of Education budget increases by significantly more than what the requirement is. It's usually it's not even close. Practically, it should not be an issue at all. And we're as far as the cap, we're still talking to the Board of Education to make sure that it try to keep it within the cap. In the second year, we can within the first year, we're fine, and then 26 we should be able to figure out a way to make sure that we're staying within the cap in 26 as well.
But the cap hasn't been set though, has it, for 26, or has it?
The cap has been set for
Okay.
26.
For 26 budget year, yeah.
So a portion of that money will be allocated for this year so that it's not going to, so not all of it will affect the cap next year. In other words, we're talking about a total of $6+ million, no?
It's a $6.5 million total. And so we've identified ways to move, there will have to be some allocation of some other expenses, particularly within DPW, to go toward that will be funded out of the state money, out of the state grant money. And we will likely have to do the same thing for the $1.5 million that we're talking about right now, and find that so that we can transfer that as well.
Because otherwise it would require a vote of the common council, a supermajority to move the cap up. Is that if we don't achieve that?
Whether or not it requires a separate vote, not sure about that, but I think it would require some approval for sure. Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's still the same amount of money because we're taking 3.5 from us and putting it there. So it's not increasing the total budget.
Right. The 3.5 million from our side, but not the state.
Right.
The state is different, would be different. Okay.
And 2 million of the 3.5 this year is going toward the internal service fund, the Board of Education's internal service fund to fund
Right.
a large increase that they experienced in their healthcare account.
So Jared, Troy, just to summarize, so yes, the Board of Ed side of the budget is increasing by what dollar amount with what we're doing here?
In 25 it'll increase by 3.5 million,
Right.
and then next year will be 3 million.
Okay, and the money, and the reason why we don't have to get approvals because we're reducing that same amount on the city side.
Yeah, that's what
Fair to say?
that's what we're working on now, and working with the state on now.
And then my other point is, I know with the agreement that Bob Duff came up with, there were some other stipulations. There were like 4 or 5 stipulations. Those are still going to be in effect, right? Like you having access, and
Right.
a number of those things are still all as part of this transaction. Nothing's changed.
That's true. And one of the big things for me, even though it's was to make sure that there was some contribution from the Board of Education toward their claims and the liability for claims and settlements that hit the Board of Education, which they haven't in the past paid for, but now will have to pay a certain amount into that every year.
Well, yeah, I'm comfortable with as long as those stipulations that were set up in addition to the money are still in effect.
Those are still in effect. The funding for music, orchestra, strings, band, all that funding is there now. And there were some other reductions within their central office,
Right.
and other things that are not student facing that were reduced as part of the
There were
budget.
5 bullet points, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
right? Or 5 or 6.
That's right.
And those are still in effect. That's what I'm saying.
Those are still in effect.
Okay,
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I also want to say I appreciate the cooperation we had from MPS and the Board of Education because this is something that affected us citywide, and everybody felt the importance of this. And we actually sat down and crafted something out, and it was very cohesive. It was I think it was a good working relationship, and it was a good experience.
Okay, any other questions? All right, all in favor of approving this transfer item? Signify by saying aye. All opposed? I don't think there's any opposition. So the motion passes unanimously, and the item has been approved. Is there anything else?
Thank you to the Board of Estimate and Taxation. Appreciate your cooperation on this.
Thank you, Mayor, and the Finance Department for working this out with the
Yep.
Board of Ed, with MPS.
And thank you to Bob
Thanks
Duff.
for your support.
Yes, and to Bob Duff, that's right. Anything else? There's additional information. There's the information portion of the agenda. Is there anything?
Yeah, I've
Anything to
got a couple
report?
things that under the
Sure.
other business
Okay.
section, and none of this is a voting event, so I don't think we need to move it. But first of all is the contingency tracker. So you'll recall last month that the fire department attended and had requested $32,000 for a new diesel engine on one of their command vehicles. At the time, we only had one quote. The second quote came in and it was favorable, $10,000 less than that. So the actual cost will be about $23,500. So we started the year with just under 1.3 million in contingency, and right now we'll be at $1,256,000 or so. For the 2025 contingency, we still have $2 million remaining in there, and that is for the retro wage payouts. So we were hopeful that we were going to process those payments in late July at the last pay period, but we were unable to meet that. So it looks like it'll be the last pay period in August, which is August 21st. So once those payments go back into the 25 actuals, we'll use whatever contingency money is left to true up any overruns. Some areas won't need the overrun, some will, but that's the plan at this point with 2025 contingency. And then I've got a couple other things if I'm okay to move on.
Sure.
Okay, so good news for me. I now have an assistant budget director, and she's on the call today. So she started, I believe, July 21st, and has come up to speed very quickly. A wealth of municipal and systems experience with the same systems that we use. So I can finally breathe a little bit. And her name is Kim Kinsella, and she's on. Kim, would you like to say a few words?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be working for Norwalk. So I worked for the city of Bridgeport for 26 years. I retired. And my last job there was in Office of Policy and Management, which is their budget office. So I have extensive history in working on budget. I also, then after that, I went to Cooperative Educational Services. So that gave me the public schools, accounting, financials background. And then I went to the town of Stratford and I worked in finance there. And then I had a short stint at West Haven Public Schools. And then I saw this opening and I applied, and Jared and Tom were nice enough to hire me. And so I want to do a really good job for Norwalk, and I'm happy to be here and working with all of you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
You're very much needed.
We're happy to have her and her
First of all,
all
me,
wealth
Jared
of
do a-
experience.
Tom and Jared do a wonderful job, and they're very busy. So the more help we can give them, the better.
Yeah,
Because this is a
anything.
very important function of the city, as you know.
Oh,
Probably
yeah,
one of the most important functions other than educating our children.
exactly. I agree totally. Nice to finally meet you, Mayor Rilling. I've
Nice
heard a
to
lot
meet you as
about
well.
you.
Yeah,
Sorry
drop
you're
by the office.
leaving.
They didn't bring you by the office yet, but I'm sure they will.
I'm sure they will.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And then just two other follow-up points from last month. There was a question about our tracking actuals versus our projections and budget on Social Security expenses. Happened to be a one-time glitch on that. I had done some projections in early June, and the way the Social Security works for the city, all of the Social Security payments are come out of one bucket on the city side, and then once a month, an allocation is made over to the Board of Education. You're somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the range of $400,000 to $700,000. So when I did my year-end projection in early June, it included 2 months worth of Board of Education Social Security expenses that it should not have. So my original target was overestimated to the tune of about $900,000. So once those entries are made, we are still probably going to be over budget by about $150,000 to $200,000, depending on how the retro wage payments shake out in late August. But much better shape than what I was projecting in early June. And then the final follow-up was related to the large capital project, the 911 dispatch upgrade. Most of you will recall that several times over the last couple of years, we've had reallocations from the excess funds in that project to things like fire trucks, the fire floor over at Broad River on New Canaan Avenue, and a handful of other transactions. So the question was, how are we so far off on the estimate and the actuals and so on and so forth? And tonight we have Deputy Chief Terry Blake on the line, who has as much knowledge as anyone does on this project. So Terry, if you want to take it from here, give a little overview, and if you'd like me to share my screen with the data, I can do that.
Hey, good evening, Commission. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got you,
yes.
Terry.
Great. I'm in the car, so I just want to make sure. So the project, I understand that there were some questions about the underrun of money. The project was funded in, I believe, 2019. At that time, as I recall, with this project, the costs were fairly accurate. There was the potential for adding new cell phone or radio towers to the city, 3 of those, which were a substantial cost. I believe the towers by themselves were over $1 million a piece, in addition to all the equipment that goes along with, moving to the new radio system. We were able to see considerable savings. I fortunately was able to kind of shepherd that project. I took over it in, I think, 2020, and jumping on what's called this Connecticut Land Mobile Radio System, which is a regional system owned by the state and not owned by the city of Norwalk, saved us considerable funding. And we were able to utilize pre-existing infrastructure in the city, and also a state tower in the town of Wilton. So we were able to see, again, a considerable savings for what was, I believe, initially funded in 2019. I don't know if anyone has any specific questions beyond that. I mean, that is the nuts and bolts of it, though. It was a lot of hard work done with the state of Connecticut and Motorola to realize those savings that were initially, if we had built a standalone system with Motorola, not involving the state, we would not have seen the discounts. We would not have been able to use the infrastructure that was currently in place with the Norwalk Hospital partnership and another partnership with South Norwalk Electric Works.
Any questions?
So Tom, the question was, it was an overbid or something, and is it because now they gone a different direction that they were able to, the bid was so far off? Is that the answer here? Or?
Well, I think a couple things, Troy. One, this is probably 7 years ago when they did the estimate, right? So if they got the money in 2019, they were probably getting bids and proposals and RFPs and all that stuff. 2017, 2018, when you think about the capital process is generally a year ahead of when you anticipate the funding. So technology has changed a lot over those years. And as Terry was just saying, if they thought they needed 3 or 4 towers or whatever, that was in the requirements, and suddenly they only need 1 tower, significant savings there. And just to refresh everybody's memories on the numbers, the total original authorization was 14.4 million. We transferred out 2 million in authorizations, so the revised budget was 12.4. We spent 7.6, so we still have about 4.7 million left. And a couple of the things that we transferred money out, the Broad River station floor, the new EVs and additional patrol cars for the police department. Recall there was that stretch where quite a few of them were put out of service. And then the 2 fire department pumper trucks, and then 3 Ford Rangers for the fire marshals. So that was a total of just over $2 million in transfers. So right now there's 4.7 million under. There's about 25,000 in change orders that are still out there. So once those 25,000 are done, we can petition to have this closed out.
So it's nice to see it worked in our favor this time. Very nice.
Yeah, no, I think the question was, why was it so, was the estimate bad or whatever, but I think it's a combination. It's a very old proposal, and technology changed in our favor. And a couple things fell into place, as Terry was saying, in terms of neighboring towns and existing state-owned facilities.
Great.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, this is not an action item, correct?
Correct. That was informational.
I just want to mention one thing, Tom, thank you for getting back to us on the car engine. That was very nice to see that a bid came in much lower than we
Yeah.
discussed. And it was also good because that SSI thing was puzzling because we figured how could it be off so much when it's
Right.
the same numbers every month. So thank you for digging into both those items.
Yeah, sure. So now I know when I do a projection, I check across the hall with our controller friends and say, hey, are there any journal entries in the pipeline that I need to be aware of? So partially lesson learned for me.
Thank you.
All right, is there anything else?
The only other thing is Alan Dutton is here for Oak Hills. So Alan, you're up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chairman, Mayor Rilling, and members of the Board of Estimates. It's my pleasure to be here, especially when I start talking about the numbers. But anyway, Oak Hills has closed the books for 2024 to 2025, and we did send the numbers into. We have had a very successful year. Just from a big overview picture, basically our revenue, this is compared to budget, basically our revenue came in at 2,717,000 for the year, which was $292,000 over our budgeted revenue. Our expenses were only up. We were budgeted to expend $2,011,000. We basically, we did not spend anywhere near that. But we actually spent only $3,000 over that. So revenue up 292, expenses only up 3, which was obviously a pretty good thing. So on an actual overage, we were $290,000 over our budgeted number, which came into $706,000 worth of operating income for Oak Hills, which is a very good number, and actually $100,000 ahead of what we actually did last year. And then basically, what do we do with that money? Well, we give $133,000. We gave $133,000 to the city for our debt repayment, based upon the number of rounds that we do. We get charged 20 cents, whatever it is, for each round that we do. We spent $157,000 in our commercial debt, which it costs us to lease our golf carts and other equipment that Jim Shell uses. And we were able to spend about $300,000 in capital expense. We redid the bunkers and some other things that we had to do at the club to catch up. So if you add up the debt repayment, the commercial leases, and the capital expense, that actually comes to $700,000. So we actually, spent what we made. But that being said, at the end of this time period, we had $866,000 in the bank. So obviously, financially, we had a very good year. And does any members of the committee have any questions that I can help them with?
I just quickly want to say, Alan, you did a great job this summer so far. The course is in great shape. The restaurant seems to be operating very nicely, and good job. I sent you an email. You'll see. We could talk about it later, but today about something on the course, the cards. But
yeah, I saw it 5 minutes beforehand.
That's fine. I know.
just
We
look
won't
at
talk. But anyway, I'm there a lot, and it looks great. Thank you, Alan, for you guys' work.
Yeah, one thing, water is key to us, and water is like the new oil. And as we move further forward, next year we're going to be this fiscal year going to do the second phase of the bunkers and some other capital projects we need to do. But there's still a lot of catch up to be done in our capital because for 3, 4, 5 years during COVID, and obviously prior to that, there was no money to spend. So we are grateful for that. So
Good job.
I saw that divot you left, Troy.
I replace all my.
I know you do.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, I was able to get out on the course. I booked a tee time for like 3:30.
Wow.
And got all 18 in. And the course is in good shape, and we appreciate all the work that's being done over there.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Just a reminder that next month's meeting is a little bit late because of Labor Day, which is September 1st. So we will meet again on Monday, September 8th.
Fair enough. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
All right, have a good night, all.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Everyone,
Thank you.
look at that, Irene. It's 7:06. We beat it by 3 minutes.